Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Welcome with Talking with Tonya. And I have got someone very special here. But before we get started, click, like, share, and subscribe. I need you to click, like, share, and subscribe. Mickey, how are you today? Because I got to send my shout out to Mickey. Mickey ain't got his mic on.
I'm doing good. Sorry about that. I ain't have my mic on.
But I'm glad you're good, Mickey, because all this wouldn't be possible without you. So again, click, like, share, and subscribe. So my special guest is no other than the fabulous Miss Councilwoman Jerri Winfrey-Carter.
Hey. How you guys doing?
How are you doing? Thank you for coming on.
And thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
You know, people see mostly when we're in council, we're handling the business, and then the side show that happens.
There's always a side. There's always a side show.
always. And you had so many things happen. I'm going to say in this past year, or even because you were on the prior council. So right. This is your this is into your 6th year.
Yes.
And so, and you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I see a lot of things happening in the 5th Ward. You just had the better block paint. You have townhomes. You've had the development of Clark Commons. So that area's been redeveloped.
There's a lot going on, a lot. I was really excited with the Better Block initiative. And they're supposed to be taking it to all of the wards. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait. I can't wait until you guys start collaborating with them. They came down from Dallas, Texas.
Well, so
it was a really, really nice event. Really nice.
Anything else that's going on in your ward?
Oh, wow. Of course, the development of Clark Commons. We're in phase 2. Phase 3 will be starting soon. Hopefully, we'll get our new residents soon. They have finished with the townhouses. They're just doing their townhouses and duplexes. They're doing little, touch-up jobs and everything. So hopefully we'll have residents moving in soon. So that's exciting. Oh God, that building right there on the corner of Saginaw and Wood, the brick building, it's finally down.
Oh, yes. They demolished that one. Okay, I remember.
Oh my God.
A lot of different things.
Yes.
Well, here is progress in the 5th Ward.
Yes.
And,
yes. And I am so glad that building is down. Glenn texted me one day. He said they'll be over there to demo that building. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So
you're doing some good work in the community. And I appreciate working with you as one of your colleagues because you are one of the most fair people that I know. And
I try to be fair.
You're very fair. I would like to see you one day, be the president of the council. You are. I would.
Burns.
I know, right. I know. I mean, people don't really, because when we're up there and it's the council meeting. You are such a smart woman, and we're gonna put up this. When you wrote that paper, I felt like taking your paper and writing an A+ on it, and then circling it in red, and then the little smiley. I'm like, this is good. But anyways, not about you all the great things.
I think I write better than I speak. I'll tell everybody
extremely well.
I can sit down, I can write. And it's going to sound good. But if I have to speak, you know what? And I did go through Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
I went through Toastmasters. But, of course, and I'm sure everybody know that I do have MS. So a lot of my cognitive abilities and different things I've kind of lost. I used to be quick, just quick to think. But and kind of like with Dennis, having the 2 strokes. I do have brain fogs too. So, so a lot of times while I'm speaking, I can forget what I'm going to say. I remember one time I forgot the pledge. I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was like, oh my God, how did I forget that? But if I'm stressed out, if I have too much on my mind, I can easily forget my next thought. So
and that's not hard to do on that city council.
Girl, it's crazy.
It's crazy. We're going to talk about tonight, we're going to get into the elephant in the room.
Oh, man. Is it the elephant, the donkey, the moose? What animal is it?
It's a big one. It's a big one. We have some big issues.
Yes.
And that's the thing that, in my opinion, when we were talking that night, and we're probably going to have 2 parts to this. It'll have to be 2 parts to get into everything. So this is going to be part 1 for us. So we're going to take it back to, how did this all start? How did we get to this point because people thought, well, Pfeiffer is not with the other people. We've always been divided. He kind of was, he tried to stay fair and in the middle. Mm-hmm. He tried to stay in the middle until Ashley Capital. Mm-hmm. And then also the $1,500 check, the $11,000 lawnmower, the $4,750 in gifts that was given to the councilman in the 3rd ward, and we did talk about the $50,000 ARPA application.
Yeah.
So he spoke up, and he spoke to where he really took it to heart, to where he said, if this is the cross that I think that I have to die on, or the cross I have to bear, then so be it, because he felt so strong about it. Because all they talk about is those 5 votes. And this was a change.
But you know what, Burns? I really think that Pfeiffer, even before that, Pfeiffer he was kind of like, shoot, I better step away from this, because it's been too much.
It's way too
much with them.
It's way too much. He tries to be even and be fair, and you can't. Just like when Eva stood up over me, I've never seen anybody grab their stuff so quick. Like, he was like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And with him having 2 strokes, he listens to all that rhetoric. She says the entire meeting long, and she lashes out at him. She's been lashing out at him.
Right.
So let's get to the Ashley Capital. Let's put the video up of Ashley Capital.
Pfeiffer calls out Ashley Capital, Mr. Murphy, and Ms. Lewis.
I believe that through whatever happened to members of this council and payments made by Ashley Capital, their CEO, and the PAC to members of this council, tainted this vote. So it is my opinion that certain members should abstain from this vote. And I've said that on the record, and I'm saying it again. I believe that if we go down that road of certain members can solicit funds to their nonprofit, to a profit that's their fiduciary, we're going down a slippery and muddy road. And I will not be a part of that. So if my colleagues do not abstain and they vote yes to approve this, I will abstain because I will not be part of that vote. However, with my support of this vote and the good that this will do to the community, if they abstain, I will vote to approve, but I will not approve if they don't sustain or they don't abstain from the vote. So I think with every vote, there's pros and cons, and you have to look at the whole project and the good and the bad of what it would happen if it does get approved, if it doesn't get approved, what are the implications? And I've looked at all of that, and that's where the conclusion I'll come to, that it's a good project, but I will not vote for it if my conscience and will not let me sleep at night knowing that I participated and approved something that is very questionable in my opinion. I'm not saying it's illegal. There's an ethical duty that we have, and if this is the hill I gotta die on, this is the hill I gotta die on, because I know the wrath that'll come at me if I do vote for it or I don't vote for it. But at the end of the night, I gotta live with myself. Thank you.
So when he was speaking of that, Ashley Capital, we were voting to receive or to give them a $72 million tax abatement. And we did not know that two of our council members at the time had received, they had not disclosed that they had received gifts, donations. One was to Liddell Lewis's nonprofit, where she was the president and the director. And then Councilman Murphy used his through Habitat for Humanity. So Mickey, can you put up the checks, please? So on there are the two checks, which that really blew my mind. And so the one is written out from the owner of Ashley Capital as his personal check.
Wow.
The second one, the second one is written out to Cyrus Park Neighborhood Association for $1,500. Neither of these checks were disclosed, nor did they tell us. It just happened to come upon me at a meeting at Metropolitan Baptist Church where they were at. They were very nice and asked me if I wanted a donation or if it was anything that my ward needed. I was like, oh, no. And so right next to me was Deacon A.C. Dumas, Papa Jared, Effie baby boy. You listen, Papa Jared, if you and then your beautiful wife Cynthia is watching, hey y'all.
And I love him. But he said Effie's baby boy.
He always says that. And I'm gonna do my sidebar just because somebody said Papa Jared, and I was reading some of these comments. Flint's richest black man. They were like, Papa Jared, that is Flint's.
Don't you remember Papa's bag?
My mama told me about Papa's bag.
Oh my God, I remember it. And I remember as a kid going in there, probably like on Saturdays or something. Yeah, okay. I remember Papa's bag.
Yeah. So, and who else? Oh, it was Woodson there. He was there, and they were there at Metropolitan. You could have heard a mouse pee on cotton when she went to tell them they got some checks. And it was a lawnmower that was ordered. Well, did the lawnmower come in?
What made you ask?
When some things you just know, and when it's some things you just know, and I'm like, this just not, something is just not right. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I had the discernment to ask, and so they were very kind about it. And she said, "Was the lawnmower in yet?" Oh no, and so well, that was the lawnmower. It's a very nice lawnmower, and I'm like, 10,000. And I'm like, and then Papa Jared, Effie baby boy, Yeah, because I will never have a $10,000+ lawnmower. And he said, "Is it the X mark? That's the Bentley of lawnmowers." And so Papa went to tell us about the lawnmower. And so that's why I asked. And it's just something I just, when we were in council, I remember looking at Quincy and looking at Liddell when May said, "I disclosed that I got $1,050 for my campaign." Them two looked at each other, and I sit across when we were in the county. I'm looking at both of them. I looked at him, I looked at her. I said, they took some money. I knew at that point, I knew, and I didn't doubt. That was what made me ask. They looked at each other because Mays tell on himself, just like he told on himself. And when Bria was asking the reporter, Bria Jones, "Did you have something to drink?" "Yeah, I had a cocktail." So he tells on himself.
That was during the time that we were having council meetings
On the phone.
via telephone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could hear it in his voice. I was like, "Oh Lord."
He did. And he telling himself. And I told him off that night. I said, "What is you doing?"
I dropped him. Look, he was on the call through my phone.
You the one who dropped him that night.
Yeah, I dropped him.
I was like, "What is he doing?"
He kept calling back. So then he called Galloway, and I text Galloway and I said, "Do not answer his call."
Exactly. That's like the night.
I said, "Cause he don't sound right."
Right. And he will tell on himself.
Right.
But Mays, and I don't want to, he's not a drinker like that. I mean,
Yeah.
we go out and, it's lemonade, water.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
But he was feeling good that day.
Right.
I guess he had him a cocktail.
Yeah. He said, "I had a cocktail." I said, "What did you have? Was it Grey Goose?" He said, "A little bit of Grey Goose." And what? I'm like, "You don't even drink." So anyways, Mays had already said, "Hey, he told us every council meeting, I took a campaign donation from them." And he disclosed it.
He will disclose.
Yeah.
He will disclose it,
But they did not. And at that meeting, I'm looking at them like, "Oh, they took some money too." So
you know what? It's about knowing this charter. It's about knowing this charter. And I'm ashamed of Quincy because he sat on the charter revision board. What is it? The Charter Revision Review Board. Yeah, he was on that board. He helped to revise the charter.
He did. Now, please tell me why you got that charter in front of you.
I got my charter. I got my rules. I got my rules of order. Girl, look.
You be ready. You ready.
It's right here. It's right here on my table. So when I get ready to go to council meeting, I can grab the things I need, put it in my bag, and head out. So
that's what made me ask. And sometimes when you grow up, they tell you, I was following my hunch, my Columbo instinct. So getting back to, after, when Pfeiffer made that speech and he abstained, he was very passionate about not voting and very serious. It took him a lot to arrive at that decision.
Yeah.
And I remember someone had put in some of the comments out, and I said, Pfeiffer's not going to support them taking them. Just look at how was Tonya Burns now? He is really kind of straight with stuff, and he's not trying to do anything that's going, because there's been so many things that have happened, and everything keeps getting swept underneath the rug. So how do you work with council members who aren't disclosing it and who aren't telling you what's going on? Just like we learned with the, can you put up the, Mickey, the other one with yeah, that one, the ARPA fund allocation. So we're sitting there during the meeting and we're reading, and I've leaned over to you, Jerry, and I'm like, this is Cyrus Park. And you was like, at first, like, girl, no. Because it was, I said, no, for real. This is Cyrus Park.
Cyrus Park improvement.
Right. And so that's how we found out. And Cyrus Park is on there for $50,000. The person who was the president at the time was Liddell Lewis, and she was the president and the director at the time. So we discussed it. Mickey, you can bring that down, please. Thank you. So we now know, because we just had Ernst & Young at our meeting on Wednesday, who said she should have filled out a conflict of interest, and she should be recusing herself on anything to vote on that.
She knows that. She knows that.
Yeah, she knows.
I'm going to tell you how I know. Remember when we were voting on the North Flint food mark?
She was a member.
She was a member. I'm a member. And we both had to abstain.
You are correct.
Remember that?
You are correct.
It was a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I don't think us being a member but it's ethical. It's not, we could have voted.
Right.
However, like Pfeiffer said, we have a ethical responsibility.
You are correct. And there was no gray area.
As elected officials.
Exactly. Well, some of us do. Some of us do. So Pfeiffer has been facing some real serious decisions. So he didn't vote on the Ashley Capital. He spoke out about it. We have the $50,000 with the Cyrus Park, with our ARPA funds. Liddell Lewis served on the ad hoc committee. Never held a meeting, not one meeting. Did not come to the other ARPA fund meetings. She was out there telling everybody how those forms weren't good forms, and he was out here making up stuff, and that he was campaigning with those funds. And lo and behold, she out here getting the ARPA fund hookup. She put her organization in and didn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Did not fill out what she should have been, was filling out the conflict of interest form, which the compliance firm stated that they needed to do.
Right.
She needed to fill out the conflict of interest form. But she's not the only one. Candace also, to be full disclosure, she also has for the Flint Development Center, it's $200,000 or $300,000 that she has one. So both of them should be filling out a conflict of interest form. That they should be doing. And that's what the compliance firm
yeah, he did. He
did.
stated that.
He said that. And so that was really shocking. That was kind of tense when he was there, that, it was tense.
Because he did also say that illegal 12-member body,
He did.
they also filled out one of the forms.
Correct. So getting on to this, so the night, we paint the picture. So we're getting on to the night where we had another dumpster fire. We had 2 weeks of council meetings and nothing was done. For the past year, almost every meeting that was chaired by Liddell Lewis, it ended up in chaos and a dumpster fire. One, she refuses to warn her friends. They take up for each other. I don't think we have enough time to really get into all of those, because some of them were just so damning that it was just ridiculous. We know that Black people have been called ghetto. They have been referred to by Eva Worthing. They have been called a cult by Eva Worthing. We know that so many different things happen in our council chambers that are just unbelievable. So when people always say, well, they're always fighting, but what is our fight? Are we fighting for what's right? And that makes the difference. Because if we just step back and allow them to not have a check and balance and say, hey, you got a $1,500 check. You got $4,750. You got a $11,000 lawnmower, a very nice lawnmower at that. Then we would be a problem, because according to the charter, there's the ethics. We took an oath, so we have a responsibility. So people have to sometimes look at what is the fight. So when we look at all of the things that just kind of came together, you can see things, how they were heading. Our meetings were tense. They have always been tense. We know that the meetings are, number one, get Mays out first, get Tonya Burns out, and then get Jerri Winfrey-Carter. Or you're a little less vocal than me, probably. I don't know, because you got some. I was looking at some of those.
Until I sit back and I'm listening. You know what?
And you wait and you do this.
But it takes a lot. It really takes a lot to get me angry. I sit there and I take a lot. I take on a lot. I listen to all of the nonsense. I watch how they do Mays, and it's just not right.
It's not right.
Not right.
Now,
and people don't understand. There's a lot of, like, you're giving them the history. There's a lot of history behind everything that happens on council. It's a lot of background information that people don't even know about.
So people say, because we're two Black women, and they say to us, or I've seen the comments, why don't we defend Ladell Lewis? I'm
not defending her. She comes in with foolishness every week. Like the last meeting, the meeting that we're discussing now. Did you hear the way that she hit that gavel?
When she almost broke the gavel.
Yeah, girl, I jumped. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, heck no, I'm getting ready to go, because I already know it's gonna be bad. I said it's best that I get up and leave now, because it's gonna be some problems. It's gonna be some issues up here. So I didn't even feel like it. I had worked all day, girl.
You were done. So
the Jaguar would have started pouncing all over that chamber.
And I think that people think, and we should be, this is the council. We've had more women. We have now 6 Black people on the council. But here's the thing. Ladell Lewis does not defend us.
No, she doesn't identify with us.
No, she does not. She has become the aggressor. She agreed when Jasmine Stanley was hit by Eva, where she should have been arrested for assault and battery. She didn't hear anything. She didn't see it. When she called Black people ghetto, she said she was not offended. When Eva Worthing stood up not once, but twice.
And actually, let me tell you, when she called me ghetto, rather she said what I said was ghetto, she used the term ghetto. She referred to our actions or whatever it was as ghetto. But Ladell Lewis said that that I was acting ghetto. Did you hear that?
Yeah, and her mama was on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that.
Comments saying we were ghetto. But I'm gonna say, my mother raised me better, and I don't deal with her mama and her foolishness, because that's where her daughter is getting it from.
Yeah,
Whose mama is on Facebook?
A mother,
Yeah.
as a mother on Facebook like that?
Yeah, she's talking about you and I. I've never seen it. My mother, I'm gonna pray for you. Let me get this holy oil and anoint you.
Right.
My mother is on Facebook.
But her mother is on
She's
Facebook.
been doing it. She's been doing it the entire time. That's embarrassing.
She the keyboard gangster number 2.
She might be number 1 because
she might be.
So that, and I think people were surprised to see that her mother was doing that. My mother would never do that. And I would, as a mother, even with my child, I would not embarrass my child like that. And I don't. I remember at a party when they had the little ball, the New Year's Eve tent downtown. And, I was out on the dance floor, I looked over there. It was my daughter because she was going to University of Michigan. I'm like, oh no, I got to go. I'm not going to party with you this New Year's Eve. No. So I'm like, I'm gonna let you party, do your thing because you're grown, and your mama and her friends get ready to go. We was partying. No. Some things you do separate. You have to. But I find it for me, and I know we may be laughing through this. It is so stressful.
It is.
We're there. It is stressful.
It's grueling.
Then we're looking at how they're turning the tides that she's the victim. She's in a hostile work environment. No, you're in the environment you created. Eva stood up twice and wanted to fight. She didn't say anything. She was talking mess. Tonya Burns, you know what? Tonya Burns, you know what it's like. I'm like, girl, you need to stop. You need some help. You need some help. And so I'm not going to defend anybody that's not. I'm not in the habit of defending people who have continuously tried to attack not only me personally, but my character and my integrity. I'm not your perfect victim. I don't know where they do that at, but I don't do it here. I don't do that here. So she doesn't identify. Eva did it twice and she defends her. That whole little, it's weird. That little whole thing, it's weird. And how they stick together, even when she wrong. When Jasmine Stanley, we talked about when she went up there, she hit her. She didn't want to do anything. She didn't do anything. When Attorney Katina Irvin said she needs to have the courage to warn her. Yes. She didn't have the courage to do that. That meeting where they had the pastors there, Pastor Harris should have had a whole head full of wow, because she would not warn her during that meeting.
And he saw it.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So we get to the point, because Eva has given people the middle finger numerous times, called people narcissistic a-holes. She's called me that. She's called Maze that. And then she says, you always, I must live in your head. She was talking to Maze because you're always talking about me. No, Eva, but you're always posting about me. Always. I live rent-free in her head. So when we talk about how do we get to this point where she claims I hit Doug, where Doug wanted to see our receipts for the show. Then I took the receipt to see him. The keyboard gangster Liddell Lewis puts on Facebook, Tonya Burns and Jerri Winfrey-Carter. Like, when do you stop?
And Liddell had him to come up there to that podium and speak on that. How do you equate? Yeah. How can you equate 2 T-shirts that were purchased?
That part.
Like I said, I can wear whatever in the hell I want to wear.
That part. So that day, when I went down, and he was like, "We gotta shout him." I went in. Doug Matthews came and demanded that we show him our T-shirts. I mean, the receipt, and to show the city attorney. So I showed the city attorney, not because I was obliged to, because I'm sick of their nonsense. And then I showed it to Doug. And all of a sudden, I was an angry Black woman. I was pointing my fingers. And Liddell Lewis, who should have been chairing a meeting, claimed at that time I was argumentative and issued me a warning.
She saw it, but she didn't see Eva hit Jasmine.
Right. But you are correct. But at that day, when I came back to my seat, she didn't want me talking to Doug because her lie, yet another lie, she was busted. So a gentleman across the aisle said, and then Jolena Freeman was sitting right in front. She's like, you didn't hit him. You didn't do anything. I had my iPad in one hand where I was showing him the receipt. Here it goes. Right. Not in his face, to the iPad. And so he had, you know, she got discombobulated. And I'll give you a warning.
Because she put him
up the chair.
Yeah, she put him up to
that garbage.
Yeah.
She gave us a little 3-minute speech, and I'm like, Doug, you don't know what you're talking about. You really don't. So all these things that she puts her hands on become toxic and become a problem. So we get down to our meetings we cannot hold. We had to hold a special meeting on, was the 8th? No, it was the 18th. It was our I forget the day, because Mays and myself called me. I'm like, look, we're getting behind our agendas. And we had 18 items. And so we called that meeting. That was the meeting we were trying to catch up. That meeting, it was just terrible because she was chairing. So finally, you have got up and went to the back. You and Councilman Mays.
Oh yeah.
And Mays had like 9 warnings. I had 2 or 3. Liddell gave him about 9 warnings, about 1,052 appeals he gave. I got about 77 warnings. I don't know if you got a warning. You was high.
No, I got up because I was already feeling like mess. Yeah, I was already feeling like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go off up in here. Let me get up. Let me leave because it's not gonna be good.
And you got up and left. So Pfeiffer walked to the back, and later he did state that he just asked y'all to come back.
Yeah, he came back there. All he said was, hey, can y'all please come back to the meeting? And May said, if she go back, I'll go back. And I said, okay, I'll go back in.
So, and you and Mays had left the meeting. I did stay in the meeting. So I guess I broke the trio because there were some things that, you know, and we do what, you know, Pfeiffer asked y'all to come back. Y'all came back. We went to proceed with the meeting. Yet again, it turned out to a dumpster fire. Liddell cannot chair. She got upset when she was getting lost. Mays was correcting her. She had problems still chairing when Mays was out for 30 days. When he was out for 30 days, her meetings were dumpster fires then.
But so once we got back to the meeting, that's when Pfeiffer put the motion on the floor.
And did he tell you he was going to put the motion on the floor?
No. He just asked us if we could come back to the meeting.
Mm-hmm. And so you came back
to
the meeting.
What he needed us to come back to the meeting for, I don't know. But I mean, for him to get up and come out there and ask us to come back to the meeting, I said, okay.
Because
what he gonna present us with flowers? What? A cake? We get ready to eat a cake? What we get ready to do?
Not the flowers. Not the flowers. So, Mickey, can you put up the one? So we have the meeting. She comes back in. I mean, we're all there, and it's another dumpster fire. So he goes to put the motion on the floor so that we can remove her as chair so we can do the work.
Right.
Because
we were actually on our 3rd meeting
with nothing done
to pass those 18, what was it? 18 resolutions. And that was our 3rd time meeting.
And so we weren't. You're correct. So Mickey, can you put up the one? Because this is going by so quick. We got to do a part 2.
Right. Okay, that's what I was asking. Which one you want to put up?
I want to put up the one whose pastors demand apology after Flint councilman calls Black Monkey. So her recollection and our recollection are in different universes, different galaxies. Because
I got you. Talk about the hold up.
Yeah. So hold on just a second. That's going to be the next one. So I want to get it to this point. So we get to we were in the meeting, and it turns to another dumpster fire. So the dumpster fire, she's unable to remember everything. And so when Pfeiffer, you want to take over from that part, Jerry?
Pfeiffer puts the motion on the floor, okay? And I don't know who supported the motion. It could have been
I think it was
me. Mays. So he puts the motion on the floor. And then after that, we go into discussion. So Pfeiffer opens the discussion with what he needed to say. Now, look, I just gotta say, I would be the first person to say anything, to say to get on him if I thought that what he said was racially motivated. And I just got to say, I've worked with Pfeiffer the last, almost 2 years. I can't see him as being racist. Okay? That right there was totally, he just, you know how you get your words get twisted? And I cannot say that was racially motivated.
And I feel the exact same. So we're in the meeting. Mickey, can you put before the video, can you put up the purple with the monkey, which is her post? So we're in the meeting, and after he misspeaks, and first you hear RL in the video says, you mean elephant in the room, sir? Right. And then May said, point of order.
See, they didn't even play that whole video.
They did not. He says, so you mean point of information? Do you mean elephant in the room? So we dealt with it at that point. And he said, yes, I meant elephant in the room. So
which one you want to put up again? I'm sorry about that.
The purple monkey comment.
Gotcha.
It's like a lavender. So I asked, so people start sending this. So Liddell's posting. She saw a window of opportunity. She posted this is during the meeting. According to the 8th ward, there's a monkey in the room.
So why she didn't say, according to the 8th ward, I'm the monkey in the room.
Correct. Why didn't she?
Because he didn't say that.
Exactly. That was posted during the meeting. She posted that during the meeting, and I said, point of information. I said, request for information. I said, did you just post on Facebook, according to the 8th ward, there's a monkey in the room? And she said, yeah. I'm like, her neck gonna snap off tonight. And so people were sending this. He didn't call. Why didn't she say at that point he called her monkey? Because he didn't. We were all there.
Because he didn't.
We were all there. It would have been a fight to the first part to get at him. Right. It would have been a fight because our L first said, "Sir, you mean the elephant in the room?" And then Mays did the request information, and then
Mays cleared it up.
He cleared it up, and then I don't know who I talked about it, and I addressed it, and you addressed it. So it was addressed during that meeting. Next thing we know, Mickey, go to the press conference. So I'm sitting in the
Give me 1 second.
I'm sitting we're at the leadership meeting, and people are saying she just did a press conference with the concerned pastors. It's like this is
she did the press conference.
She did it that morning, and then she came to the leadership meeting.
Okay.
Still wearing her clothes from the day before.
Because we had that meeting on Wednesday. We had the meeting on
not
Wednesday.
That one. I want the
Oh, let me go back. I'll get it for you. Let me go back and find it. I'm gonna make it quick.
So
Crazy.
she did that press conference, and we did not hear anything. I wish now we can look back in retrospect that the pastors had contacted other council members. I would hope that this never happens again.
Right.
So they would have contacted before giving a press conference. And we were not afforded that, unfortunately, but we are now having to deal with the chaos and the mess.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find it, Mickey?
Yep, I got it right here.
First heard the term monkey come out of my colleague's mouth, I was in utter disbelief, because this is 2023, and to hear that being spewed, especially on a professional elected platform, it really took me aback. And it doubled down on the fact that we go to work in a hostile working environment. On one end of the council, I'm being called a handkerchief head Negro. And this colleague is selling T-shirts with my face on it, with the racist term handkerchief head Negro, to the community. And then now on the other end, I'm being attacked by a white colleague calling me a monkey, referring to me as a monkey. That's creating a hostile work environment, and it is impeding the work that I am setting out to do. I'm here to do the business of the city. I'm here for the residents. And so if I'm constantly under attack, that affects your mental health, and you're not able to perform your job the way that you were elected to do so. I'm here exclusively to perform the will of the people. Not once have anyone heard me call anyone a derogatory name at all. I use my elected platform to promote the interests of the city of Flint, more specifically the 2nd Ward. And I do want to encourage my colleagues to do the exact same. And so hopefully today will set the precedent. So Mr. Pfeiffer could apologize. And also, his brother made comments referring to me needing a trainer as a monkey. And so all of this is just unfortunate. This is just unfortunate. And Flint deserves better. The residents deserve better. And we will only get better when we deserve better. So I just want to encourage the residents to please take a stand. If you don't believe that racist rhetoric is okay, if you don't believe in having a hostile working environment in the city council, if you don't believe that that's okay, we need for the residents to step up and say something, because this is affecting the city. We can't make proper legislation. We can't be on our best pony per se and make the best decisions for this city if we are constantly being harassed every time we step inside council chambers and the colleagues think that it's okay.
Okay, Mickey, cut it. So
But it's okay for her to come in every week and harass Councilman Mays.
she has no problem. She told him, "Yo, mama." I heard her.
Right.
She walked back. Now, what she said was, "Well, people didn't hear me." So she's slick like she did in the elevator with Miss Bed. She does slick stuff.
She does slick stuff.
And she thinks, just like when she said Mays was a mother effing B, and I was gonna go after him.
But
turned out she was lying. She was lying, big lying. He didn't
But
call
listen to this.
And I asked in council chambers.
Mm-hmm. Listen to this. People need to know too that night, the night that we were in a council meeting and Pfeiffer voted against her on an appeal. Was it that Thursday night?
I can't remember.
It was one of those nights. It was that Thursday meeting. That Thursday night, apparently, they were on Facebook. Remember, Pfeiffer was posting on Facebook, and I was like, "Dang, Pfeiffer posting on Facebook? I had never seen Pfeiffer post on Facebook, huh?"
I had never either.
She said something. She included his name on a post, whereas she always talk about you, Mays, myself, and she included Pfeiffer.
No, he's got some. No,
him and Don, they were going They were going in.
Listen,
Now,
and I was watching.
How can she say he even said, Don even called her a name?
She goes back, but she has never been wrong.
Yes.
Never, ever been wrong or apologetic. But here's some of the things. We know Liddell took the $1,500 from Ashley Capital for a $72 million tax abatement. We know that she voted no twice to help people in the second ward who needed help with the pump station 5 failure, where they had wash sewage, which would be urine and poop in their basement. She put out her resident, Miss Mayfield, when she came to ask for help, put her out and had her escorted out by the police. Miss Mayfield has been sleeping in her car and needed help with ARPA funds. Adele Lewis is making sure she gets $50,000 for ARPA funds that she put in with Cyrus Park, and she's the president and a director of, but Miss Mayfield couldn't even get a call back from her own council person. Right. She walked out of the meeting with the Pulaski Street fire, where the 2 beautiful little boys lost their life in that tragic fire, right at the vote. She got up and walked out right when the vote was saying, Councilman Mays, and then the next person, and he said, yes. The second person we called on was her. She jetted so quick, I think them Reeboks had springs in them. She was gone. She defended
that
Eva.
That was so disheartening.
It was tragic.
Yeah.
She's a black woman, but she don't identify with black people. That family at that time was asking her to please stay. You can't stay just to vote. 5 people voted. Councilman Pfeiffer voted. Liddell Lewis didn't.
She was so insensitive, because when that mother came to our council meeting, even when the sister of the mother got up and spoke, I sat there and I cried. How can you be so insensitive?
And she lacks empathy. She cussed out Pastor Thomas, an ordained minister, St. Mark Church, not once, but twice.
And told him shots fired. Now shots fired.
You ain't SHIT. She told him MFer. She called him everything.
And a fake ASS pastor.
Not once, but twice. And see, this is speaking to her character. I'm not getting ready to defend her when she out here acting with all this foolery. I'm not going to do that. Not at all. The ARPA funds, that was the problem. She set up and told another big lie about retouching the Black Lives Matter mural, that you can't do it. It causes accidents. No, it can't be done. No, MDOT, I got Joe Scapani and brought him on. They did over 300 murals. Guess who taught them how to do it? And that is safe. MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation, taught them. She told a lie. She gets up there and lie and expects somebody to carry that lie. I'm not going to give her lie no legs to run off. Not going to do it. She had her neighbor next door that she called the police on, her friend she grew up with. She called. She did her wrong. She does
the food stamp.
That's the food stamp. And the lady called. She was crying. She had called the police and blighted on her and had given her tickets because she said she was cleaning out the house to get everything out. And when she asked her, could you pay for the overage? And it's a recording. And yes, I got it. She told her, no, I'm not paying that. So when we talk about she speaks to everybody else's character, she don't identify, but who she does identify with, I don't know what it is with Eva Worthy. She didn't defend me or say anything. Hey, Eva, that was bad. What she did do was defend Eva and say that when I stated that it was, I was the problem, and that, I don't want to pretend like I'm, I don't want to misquote her quote. I want to make sure I get her quote correct, because she was so adamant with telling, the handkerchief head Negro, we're in this when she's so upset that they're wearing the handkerchief head Negro on the shirt, but it was okay when she was defending Eva. And she said, Flint Second Ward, to a racist, whoever Tracy Withy is, racist person. She says Tracy Withy always then gaslights and makes it a racial issue when it's not. Point is, she continued to break the rules by unlawfully taking the floor, then was pointing towards Worthing, saying, today is not going to be your day. Totally out of order. And that could be interpreted as a threat. Then Eva stood up, which was out of order, and began going back and forth with Burns. If calling a fair game makes me a handkerchief head, I will wear it with pride. Do better. You called yourself a handkerchief head, but you should have called herself something more than that, because that was some foolery that she did. Eva stood up not once, but twice during that meeting. I stayed seated. You tell me who creates the hostile work environment. She backs that nonsense up. So she creates all of this mess. So when we talk about, I'm not going to protect her. I'm not going to defend her. Because she's not a nice lady. She walked out on those two black little boys. And Richie, Dr. Richie, he should have watched the video and called and asked. He put up about those two black little boys. Well, guess who stepped out and didn't stay in there to make sure that we could get an independent investigation? Ladell Lewis walked herself right out at the moment they were asking for her vote.
And so somebody needs to send that video to Richie.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to send that video to Richie.
To him. So let's put up the video of Dr. Richie. I know our time. Oh, how many more minutes we got?
You got 2. I was gonna say we was gonna probably have to say that for part 2, because that's like an 8-minute video.
Okay. So you know what? Can we part 2 and then finish it up?
Yes, we can.
I mean, like right after this.
Yeah, I'll link it right back up.
Okay, so we're gonna do a part 2. Part 2 is we're gonna start with Dr. Richie, because Dr. Richie should did his homework.
Yes,
that journalism did not have
I'm just, you know what? I'm so disappointed in him.
Let's close it out. So I want y'all to stay tuned for part 2.
Gotcha.
Part 2. So stay tuned. We're gonna get you in a minute. Then click like and share. Click like and share, because we got a part.